Hello sir, good day. So this time I'm going to officiate to you the hand signals of volleyball. But first, let me tell you the meaning of volleyball. Volleyball is generally officiated by two referees and two line judges. The line judges stand in opposite corners throughout the entire match and assist the first referee with in and out calls and look for touches of the ball by blockers at the net. In volleyball, there are 25 hand signals and they will identify, explain, and perform it to you, okay? So the first hand signal is what we call illegal alignment. So a referee would indicate this by straightening their arm at 45-degree angle towards the floor on the side that is at fault. The referee would then make small circle motions to indicate that a rotation area has occurred, like this. The second hand signal is what we call line violation. When serving in volleyball, it is illegal to step on or over the baseline during the serve. The baseline are the two lines that form each end of the volleyball court. The officials that are normally in charge of the side and baselines are the line judges. If a line judge or even referee spots a player stepping on or over the line when serving, they would indicate this in the following way. The official would point down at the offending line to indicate that a line violation has occurred. Like this. The third one is delay, what we call delay of service. Once the referee has blown the whistle to initiate the start of the rally, a player has 8 seconds to serve the ball. If for whatever reason the player takes longer than the allocated 8 seconds, the referee will award a point to the other team for the delay in service. A referee will show this has occurred by raising their hand with a flat open hand before awarding the point to the opposition team. Like this. The fourth one is what we call net foul or net serve. In volleyball, you actually can touch the net providing it does not affect the rally or run of play. With that being said, there are very few situations in which someone touching the net wouldn't affect the run of play. Just to clarify, net violation includes the net and antenna. If a net fault occurs, the referee would take their hand on the side in which the net fault occurred and place their hand gently on the net to indicate the fault. Like this. The fifth one is what we call an illegal hit. Illegal hit occurs when the ball visibly comes to rest or has prolonged contact with a player. This is a judgment call by the official and cannot be questioned by anyone. Holding, catching, throwing, lifting, and pushing are illegal hits because of prolonged contact with the ball. Like this. So the sixth one is what we call over the net. In volleyball, you are not allowed to reach over the net to attack the ball. However, there are actually quite a few exceptions to the rule. You are allowed to reach over the net to play the ball if the opposition have you use their 3 allocated touches. Hence, why you are allowed to press a block over the net. You can also reach over and attack the ball if the ball is traveling onto your side and there is no possibility of the opposition playing the ball again. A referee would indicate that a hand over or over the net has occurred by placing their arm over the top of the net when stood on the podium or steps. If the referee is not stood on the referee stand, they may use their arm vertically to create a net whilst placing their other arm horizontally over the top to indicate the same thing. Like this. The seventh one is what we call illegal blocking. Screening or blocking the line of sight is actually illegal in volleyball. With that being said, there is a rather loose interpretation of this rule. What I mean by this is players are allowed to group together and raise their arms as long as the receiving team has a clear line of sight to the server and or service flight path. This means as long as the serving team adopt normal base positions, then a screen fault would not occur. Now when I say normal base positions, what I mean by this is it is a completely feasible that a player at the net would raise their arms in preparation for blocking. It is also conceivable that players would group together to make rotating to their correct position quicker and more streamlined. So based on this, you may be wondering when exactly an illegal block or screen call would occur. Whilst it is allowed for players to group together and raise their arms, it is absolutely not allowed for players to move with the receiving players to ensure their sight remains obstructed, nor is it allowed for a player on the serving team to line up directly in front of the server to restrict the receiving player's view. If this was to happen, the referee would indicate that an illegal screen has occurred by raising both hands upwards to head height, forming and showing open palms toward the court, like this. The eighth one is what we call ball lands in. When the ball lands in, a point is awarded to the team who is able to ground the ball on the opposition side and between the lines. Obviously, an official needs a way of indicating whether the ball landed in or out of the court, especially in situations where it is tied to the line and could go either way. An official would indicate that the ball landed in a court by placing their arm at a 45-degree angle between the hip and shoulder and then pointing with their full arm and hand to the side in which the ball has landed in on. Like this. The ninth one is what we called back row attack. The official would raise their forearm only keeping the upper arm horizontal at shoulder level. From this position, the official would rotate their arm at the elbow making a downward waving motion, like this. The 10th one is what we call ball touch. Everybody knows that if the ball lands out of bounds, it is a point to the opposite team of the player who touched it last. When a ball is hit by the attacking side, it is quite common for the blockers or defenders to get a touch on the ball. It is important for officials to notice this, as if the ball was to land out after a touch from the blockers or defenders, the attacking team would be awarded the point. This is known as touch out or ball touch. An official would indicate that the ball has been touch and gone out by placing one hand up and out in front of them. With their other hand, they would brush their fingers upwards. This shows the ball touching someone and then coming off them and out. Like this. The 11th one is what we call double hit. This rule is the bane of every setter to have ever played game. When hand setting, it is very easy to double contact the ball. If the ball doesn't enter or leave the hands at the exact same time, an official will often call a double contact. A referee would indicate that a double touch has occurred by simply showing two up on one hand, much like the hippie peace sign, like this. Number 12. 4 hits. The most common one that springs to mind is sometimes when a player attacks the ball on a third hit. Sometimes it actually bounces off the net ban as opposed to being blocked. If the team that just hit the ball touches it again after it comes off the net ban, this would be 4 touches. This is actually one of the more obvious calls in volleyball in the sense that an official indicates this fault by simply holding up 4 fingers in the one hand like this. Number 13. Out of bounds or antenna violation. If the ball lands out of bounds or touches the aerial, the opposing team would be awarded the point. Just to clarify, out of bounds encapsulates a few different things. The ball is considered out of bounds if it lands outside the court lines, contacts the net outside the antenna, the supporting or guide ropes of the net or the post and referee stand. If the ball lands out of bounds or contacts the aerial, the official would show this by bending both forearms upwards so the fingers are pointing towards the sky with their arms out in front of them like this. Number 14. Begin serve. It is important that every player on the court understands when the serve is about to come. In volleyball, it is illegal to serve without the official signaling the start of the rally. The first referee would signal the start of the rally and indeed the start of the serve by blowing the whistle and waving their hand from the server's side to the receiving team's side, like this. Number 15, what we call side out. The term side out refers to an absolute rule in volleyball under which the winning point could only be scored by the serving team. A side out is now defined as when the receiving team earns the right to serve whether they get a point when they do so or not. The referee will do like this. Number 16. A point. A point is the result of a rally. Points are scored in various ways by players committing faults, ball landing in, ball landing out, etc. Volleyball rally. A rally is the time between the serve and the end of the play. In some volleyball terminology, a rally is synonymous with volley. So, the referee will do like this. Number 17. Substitution. The player who is being subbed in will stand on the side of the court by the side of the referee and hold up a paddle with the number of the player they are replacing. The referee will show that a substitution is taking place by placing their arms horizontally one over the other. They will then rotate their arms in a spin cycle motion to signify that a swap of rotation in the line-up has occurred. Like this. Number 18. Illegal substitution. If the correct process is not followed, the player does not wait for the referee to confirm the substitution of a player places the wrong person. An illegal substitution call would be shown. An official would show this by placing one arm up vertically above their head and then rotating it around, like this. Number 19. Team timeout. Volleyball timeouts are used by a team to stop the game for a short period of time. Timeouts are usually, though not always, called by a team when they have lost a few points in a row, which will hopefully change the momentum that the other team has built up, like this. Number 20. Officials timeout. The other example would be if there is some deliberation between decisions or repeat offenses that need clarifications amongst the officials. The way in which officials show this is again by creating a T with their hands that will be displayed at head level. Once the T has been displayed, the official turn their hands towards the head at shoulder level to indicate that a timeout has been called by the officials and not at either team. Like this. Number 21 is called replay or let. If there has been a net touch but both players appear to touch the net at the same time, occasionally the official may choose to play a let or replay of point. The referee would show a let or replay of the point by putting both thumbs up on either side of the net, like this. Number 22 is what we call end of game. To win a game, a team must score 25 points with a 2-point difference. If they're too closely matched, the game can continue over the 25-point maximum. On the final deciding game of the match, it's only played until 15 points, but the 2-point difference still applies. And the referee will do like this. Number 23 is what we call unnecessary delay. These are often used when players are trying to slow down play, either to disrupt the flow of the opponents or to try and regain energy after a long rally. An official would show an unnecessary delay called by bringing the hands to the top of the waist, almost as if the official was going to rest their hands on their waist, like this. Number 24 is what we call change of court sides. After the referee has signaled the end of the set, they will place one arm in front of them and the other arm behind them. This indicates one team must rotate round to the other side of the court in front of the referee whilst the other team rotates behind the referee, like this. Number 25. Disqualification. This signal means the player is disqualified for the rest of the match. The referees will show red and yellow cards separately for disqualification, like this.